All right, we'll have Dean come up. We'll do our lunch sponsor at the end. Okay, Dean, come on up. Broker moment. Give it up for Dean Correndell.
Yeah, you guys have been waiting for this. Okay, code of ethics. This is fun. I just put this up there. Code of ethics really is fun. It keeps us, it makes us realtors. The obligation of realtors to preserve confidential information as defined by state law, provided by their clients in the course of any agency relation, non-agency relationship recognized by the law, continues after termination of agency. But I wanted to talk about confidential information. And so go ahead and flip the slide if you would. So that might be socials and all the other information. But specifically, I want to talk about wire fraud because I had a fun one with one of our agents yesterday. And it was only because I get nervous and I was perspiring and I was getting, taco arms, if you will. We had to wire out of our account $350,000 to a seller. And so I asked our agent, hey, how did you, I have the account number. I said, great. How'd you get it? And he texted it to me. Okay. It happened to be a local bank. And I said, well, that's awesome. Now I'm starting to sweat. And it's not about this agent's situation. It's just about in general. So that's why I put down, how do you share information and how do you present the wire fraud alert disclosure? Anybody have any, this is your time to share. How do you present it? How does Lee Stern present it? Come on, who's been in Lee Stern's class? Seriously. No one? All right. Everybody raise your right hand. Right hand. All right. On my honor, I will not wire money until I talk with Dean, your name here, first on the phone. Okay. Literally, I do that when I sit down with buyers or sellers, or when I'm in the consultation with them on a listing appointment or with a buyer consultation, I literally make them do that. And I said, you're going to feel really stupid. I'm going to make you do it anyway. But if you do that, they will not wire funds without talking to you first. I said, what I want you to do, agent, I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to call your client, verify the number that was texted to you is an actually legit number for this client. Do you think that might protect your client? He or she may think that you actually have their interests at heart. We had an agent. So I talked about here, how do you share information? Email, text, social platforms. I hope you're not sharing confidential social security information or stuff like that. Hey, I need your social. Title needs your social. Have you ever had someone ask you that? A title company call you? That happens, right? Burgundy, do you ever ask people for their social security number? Yeah, every day. And usually, how do you do it? Over the phone? You have your form. Yeah, so you have your system. It's a secure system in theory. Yeah, but you call them on the phone, but you know who you're talking with initially. So it's important, but it's a big deal. How would you like to, hey, I just use my Facebook Messenger to send some of my social. Well, that's awesome. That's never gets sniffed. But did you see how important it is? Let me share another fun one with you. Doesn't have to do with wire fraud, or it has to do with wire fraud, but not with earnest money. It's a different one. We had an agent in our office. Her email got spammed or spoofed. Someone took over and control of her email. Anybody who have a Gmail account? If you have a kw.com account, you have a Gmail account. Just saying. And I use it even for my own. I use Gmail, and I also, whether it's coming from Dean at Wise Guy, coming from Dean at KW Westfield, or Wise Guy at KW Westfield, or Dean O'Dean at kw.com. Those are all Gmail platform accounts. They get hacked all the time. Go through your spam just for fun, and you'll see someone saying that they know your passwords, and they get pretty close sometimes, and they're asking you for some crypto. That gets exciting. This agent's account got hacked. As they were going, they're just monitoring her email. She had 2 closings with a local title company. So they sent a message to the title company in her name, said, hey, my broker said it was cool. Just go ahead and wire the $20,000 to my husband's account here, because this is our Citibank account. The title officer went ahead and wired the funds. and it bounced back because it was the wrong account. She did it again. She emailed the client back because they take over your Gmail account and they block your ability to receive or to send messages, except for the ones, or you can receive messages, but you just won't see them. They said, hey, your account's messed up. It bounced back. Oh, my husband closed that account. Would you send it to our account? He's actually in New York now, and we're moving to New York, and he set up his account in New York City. She wired the $20,000 to New York City, and it stuck. And so I picked up the phone and I called title because we found out about it afterward. And so I picked up the phone and called title, and I said, would you please show me the document that I signed allowing you to send money directly to my agent? There was dead silence because I won't do such a thing. Money comes to this brokerage, we'll ACH your money out to you. But this was only $20,000. But you see why I was a little paranoid about $350,000? Because when I spoke with that escrow officer on a Friday afternoon, I said, please understand that I need that $20,000 by close of business Monday. We got our check. Guys, it's that big a deal. It's just 20 grand now. I know it's chump change for most of you, but I want you to know that it's not for me because there's exposure and we don't want to see that happen. We had it was a KW client in Park City, a seller, and an email went from the seller to the title company saying, hey, please just send the proceeds to my business account. Here's all the wiring instructions. And so the good title company went and said, and we just wanted to verify that you wanted it wired to your account as you said in your email. And they said, business account? We don't have a business account. But could you imagine having $800,000 wired to the wrong account? Your life would be like a really good vacuum. Okay, it would really suck. And we don't want that to be the case. Okay, so anyway, it's that big a deal. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. I'm a voice of warning. It's really easy and you can make it up on my honor. I will do whatever, but I'm going to talk to my agent first before you do it. I use a second step even. I may get specific wire instructions from a title company if we're wiring funds into title. I will receive those from title. I will call title and verify those numbers. And then I send those to my client with, I call it a password. And that password would be say something like, it'll be Kauai or it'll be Hawaii, it'll be Maui. I'll use a Hawaiian word and I'll send them just that with the attached PDF. Then I pick up the phone. I'm on the phone with my client who's verifying those numbers with me so that we're really sure, because I'm paranoid. Because if they lose money, who do they sue? Not you, they sue me. And I don't want to be sued. Anyway, hang on a second here, Riley.
If it's not the way to do a bucket fill, I just want to say your joke was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, gee. Anyway, that's all. Novalee. Now, guys, please understand that I sign your checks. Novalee cuts your checks. You need to be nice to her.
But this whole situation is why when you call and say, I want to wire earnest money, I say no, because I don't want this to, if we don't do it, if we don't do a wire, then we don't have to worry about this. Earnest is 100% safe. This doesn't happen. And Earnest we're getting Earnest set up so that you will send your client to kwwestfield.com and they will enter their bank information directly into the website. So you won't have to request it on the way you're currently doing it. So it'll be even faster. But we used to be at 80% adoption on Earnest. We're down to like 30%. And we have Earnest money checks bounce all the time. They get lost all the time. So even Earnest could have taken that $350,000, but they needed me to release it within 48 hours, which is why we did do the wire. But if you don't, that's why I say no when people call and say, hey, can I wire $10,000? This is another reason.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would love to have more of my clients use Earnest because it's a pain to collect checks. And a lot of times it's in my hand and I have to bring it here, but it's the $15 that deters them. Like, is there a way it could just be like a fee that we as agents pay at closing, or, something where then I think more people, I think that number would be way higher than 30%.
One thing I will share with you, people that are buying houses and all that, this is just, I'm saying the case for Ernest, $15 really? Are you going to wire money? How much does it cost to send a wire? Yeah, but that means I have to go to my bank, do the wire. It's $35 to wire. We have to pay $30, which we will take from you to receive the wire. I mean, it's a $60 transaction where Ernest is $15. How much is their time worth just to drive to the bank, and with the cost of gas, yeah, I know. Yeah, $15 for a $30,000 check. Go ahead.
We have that option. It has to be all or none though. So at $15 and we're doing 200 a month at $15, that's a substantial fee to the market center. And we didn't want to pass that on to the agent that much, right? So 15 times 200. But we could figure out a way to do that, Ashley. We could figure out a way to do that where we rebated it to the client somehow, right? We could figure out a way to do that. Yes, we could figure out a way to we could find a solution. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to burn rubber on my tires. I want to spend gas, oil, and I'm sorry, but it's $15. Yeah. It's 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah. We can figure something out.
All right. Anyway, that's all I have. I'm sorry I took so much time.
So one little tip in this current market is, how do you deal with buyer hesitancy? When you have clients that don't want to pay 7%, you show them memes. You help them understand, especially if they're first-time home buyers and they're renting right now. Rent is 100% on their interest rate, right? So just a little funny insight is the stories that we have with clients, or the way that we articulate what's happening in this market, is so important. You have to have better scripts than your clients do. And so I want to ask you to pay attention to, are you adjusting how you have conversations with your clients in this time? And there's going to be a lot of opportunities to really sharpen your skill set for this upcoming market, but it all starts right now. So take that to heart. We're going to talk about something that sometimes can be a non-sexy topic, but I think it's very important. How many of you have checked email so far this week? I've looked at your email. Okay, 95% of you. The other 5% are the ones that have like 30,000 emails in their inbox, right? And we're gonna have a little conversation. This is really just kind of one of those hacks that I think is important. The goal for me over the next 25 minutes is to give you a tool that can help you get 1 hour per day back in life. So 5 hours a week in a working work week, which is over 200 hours over the year. That's the focus. Very simple tip that we're going to break down, and I'm just going to show you my exact strategy around this. But first, I want to look at some wardrobe kind of cool tips. First, I know Carl got some New Balance, and I know he's bringing them back into style right now. And it started with Steve Jobs. He was the first one that really rocked those at a high level, right? And you can see his wardrobe change from 1998 to 2011. Stayed pretty fresh. One interesting thing, who's familiar with decision fatigue? That concept, okay? It's actually interesting if you look at individuals. Have you seen Mark Zuckerberg and what he wears? Doesn't matter the occasion. T-shirt. He wears the exact same T-shirt every single day. Sometimes he wears a blue hoodie, same hoodie, every single time. Gary Keller is always wearing black, right? I haven't gone to that level yet. I still let my wife dress me, but someday I might adopt one of these styles. But if you actually look at most successful people, Elon Musk included, they actually wear pretty much the same thing day in and day out. They don't care. I saw Mark Zuckerberg here in Utah when he came back a couple years ago to the Tech Summit. And he doesn't care if he's in front of 3,000, 4,000 people. He will wear a t-shirt and jeans. And what's interesting about this is they're trying to avoid what? Decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is that the more decisions you have to make on a daily basis, the less effective you become at making decisions. So one of the strategies that they deploy is trying to minimize those non-essential or non-important decisions they have to make early in the morning. How many of you have gotten up groggy, gone to your closet, and you're like, when the heck am I going to wear it today? And you start going through your clothes, you're like, man, I think I wore that yesterday or last week. Can't wear that again. Everybody will make fun of me, right? And you spend 5 to 7 minutes trying to make a decision on what to wear. Has anybody had that happen before? Okay. The question I have is, what is the most valuable resource on the planet? Time. Time. And you can, every week or every day, you can spend your time or you can invest your time. Okay. Two very different decisions. So one of those very simple ways, and you can do this with all different areas of life, but one we're going to talk about today is how do you invest your time rather than spending it with something you probably do mostly on a daily basis, which is email. So first I want to talk about the compounding effect of time. So 1 hour a day and increased efficiency equals 7 hours a week, which is 3.5 8-hour days per month, which is 42 additional 8-hour days per year, which is another year, 1.16 years over a decade of life lived. That's 1 hour a day. Now, have any of you looked at your screen time and looked at how much time you spend on social media or email or any of those other platforms? Do you know what the average time wasted is per day on social media, email, and all those different distractions? Yeah. 3 to 4 hours, which is crazy. I'm talking about 1 hour here. This math is just 1 hour equivalents to 1 additional year per decade, which is wild. So think about the 4 hours a day. What does that compound into? Right? So here's an interesting stat that after checking email, people need 64 seconds to get together and return to the working mode. According to the McKinsey Global Institute analysis, on average, 28% of work time is spent on email. Ugh. We check email on average 11 times per hour. Isn't that nuts? Geez. So really quick, pull up your phone. If you have an iPhone, it's a little bit easier. You'll see the little red bubble on your email app, and it'll show you how many emails you have in your inbox. I'm curious to see who has the record, who has the most emails showing. How many? 6,000? 31,000? Ooh. Jeez. 31,000. 34,000? Okay. Can I get a 35? Scott? 90,000? How long have you had email for? Jeez. 90. How long would it take for you, Scott, to go through those 90,000 emails? Yeah. Yep. You don't even try to get through those, right? So what I'm going to share How many of your inboxes on Gmail look like this? Hunter now? Okay. Just jumped on this bandwagon. Please raise your hand if your email looks like this. No one? Does anybody use Gmail in here? Okay, good hand, good few of you. So here's the system, and this is all built within Gmail. Like they give you the ability to do this, which is having your inbox set in order of priority. Okay, making sure that you're only looking at what's actually important so that you're saving your time. So one of the things that you can do is create filters for your email to where I can, on a daily basis, I don't want to see everything else unless it's the weekend. It's stuff that's non-essential. It's just not important. So I can close that and not look at that specific item until Saturday or Sunday. But even if I open up all of my inboxes, this is all of my emails so far right now. So in about a 10-minute time span per week, I can very quickly get through my emails and also look at what's essential. What do I actually need to follow up on? Follow up has this little label. So that means I actually have to take action on something. The waiting section means that I'm waiting for somebody else to take action on that item. And if I need to ping them, if I need to follow up with them, I can, but I don't really have to do anything with that. And then obviously that top section is just the important and unread. I just haven't seen those emails yet. They probably just came through within the past couple hours. And so those are things that I need to, at some point today or the next day, check out and see if they're important and essential or not. Okay. So two things. This is very simply done by going into the settings. We'll send a video. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes to set this up to where your inbox actually understands what's important to you. Gmail is actually pretty intelligent when it comes to understanding what emails are important to you or not, based off of how frequently you open those, if you respond to them and so forth. So it'll kind of learn your preferences. Now, what else do you notice about my email inbox that's a little bit different than what yours might look like? The labels on the left? Yeah. So these labels, so these are actual transactions. So you'll want to write the name of this down. We will send it an email and you can get a $10 discount if you use that link. It's called Folio. Okay. Now Folio is an email assistant for real estate agents. Okay. What it does is it brings artificial intelligence or AI into your email experience. Why this is important with transactions, how many of you have had a client reach out to you and say, hey, can you send me my closing docs? Or can you send me my XYZ document from when we did a transaction 7 months ago? Has anybody ever had that happen? So one of the things that it does, if I click on one of my transactions, let's say I click on Berlin Pearls, it's going to automatically sort my entire inbox and find every single email that's ever been associated with that transaction. Okay, so very quickly, I can find out any correspondence that happened on that email. And then on the right-hand side, see if I'm looking at this correctly. Okay, so this won't pull up because I don't have, I'm on a different computer. On my computer, Folio is actually present on here. And what happens is if I click the little app on the right-hand side for Folio, it will actually have a smart folder that it's created with all of the documents associated with that specific transaction in a Google Drive. And I can share that link with the client. And any email that comes through from Lacey or whoever, right, that is correspondence on that transaction, it's going to automatically pull that document and put it in the Google Drive folder without me having to touch anything. Okay. So it's intelligent and brings in all that data on each transaction. And then it also creates a, let's see if I can see this from here. My eyes are getting terrible. There we go. So Folio archive down here. So I can pull up all my past transactions. And again, if a client asked from last year, from October of 2021, I can go back and see every single file or transaction or email that happened on that transaction. Okay. How can this help you? Save time. Do minutes add up? They do. And if you tracked how often you're inefficient with your email itself, I promise there's a ton of time left on the table for stuff that's actually important to you, stuff that you actually want to be doing. So don't waste it on email. So the two suggestions, one is organize your inbox, use the Google settings to do so. We'll send that email out. The second piece is if you're doing transactions, use Folio. It's super helpful in the way that it organizes your files. And we'll send out the details on this specifically. So on the right-hand side, this is what would pop up if it's on your personal computer, is it will show the files. If you click on files, it takes you to that Google Drive that you can share with your clients. But it also has this cool timeline. Now, this timeline is what you share with your clients, and it's their experience showing them all the important deadlines on their transaction. And then the most important thing is all the preferred vendors and their utilities who they have to call, like when, for example, it's time for them to set up utilities. It will have American Fork City Utilities or Lehigh City Utilities right on their timeline for them. So it has the phone number, the email, the website for that city to go ahead and help them set up their utilities. If you have a landscaper that you suggest or their title person that they're working with, all of that can be right on their timeline for them. So it's a one-stop shop for the clients. So it gives them a better experience as well. Cool. I know this is, again, not a very sexy topic, right? Talk about email. But again, what I want to help you do is get very effective with your time. Okay. Especially in this market where how you spend your time really matters. So spend it with your family, spend it with clients, spend it getting more business, not being lost in your inbox. Sound good? Any questions or thoughts on this?
I'd like to make one. So I just posted in our Facebook group message, how to achieve inbox zero. It's what Shoni was talking about having the different categories. I started using this about 3 weeks ago, and it has seriously changed everything for me. I think people, when they initially meet Shoni, they might think he's a robot because he's just so good at being on top of things. But as I've gotten to know him over the last 2 years, he's just really good at implementing systems. So I would definitely take his advice on this because it's changed the way I do business.
Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate that. Awesome. Any questions? Okay, we'll send out the video. It's a 5-minute video. It helps you actually create that inbox zero, which is you being able to open your inbox and see 0 emails at the end of the day. Okay, makes it very effective and helpful. And then next week, just so you know, we're actually going to do something pretty cool. We're going to have a mastermind experience. It is going to be based off of production level. And so please come ready for that. We're going to go through a SWOT analysis, which is so important during this market. And we're going to dive deep into that. So that's going to be next team meeting. And then on the, is it the 28th, 25th? Yeah. The 25th, we are going to be having a potluck. And so we'll have a Halloween party. Yeah. Yep. So we'll send out more details for that as well, but that's the next 2 team meetings. And then we have some cool stuff planned for November as well. Okay. So I believe IntroLend is our lunch sponsor for today. So thank you guys. Give them a hand. We appreciate them. And have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Yeah.